Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. It's great to see everybody back. Hey, thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I wanted to show you guys yet another chess set. In fact, this particular chess set I got at the same time that I bought the Reykjavik chess set, the previous one. As you will see here in a second, this particular chess set sold on Wholesale Chess for, I think it was around $27 or so. This is the Zurich plastic series chess pieces, with the king being 3 7/8 of an inch. So it's almost 4 inches, like very close, very close. This particular chess set, unlike the previous video where I shown you guys the Reykjavik chess set, this one in particular is a little different in the way that it does come with a much nicer felt. That's why I brought out this wooden chessboard, just to show you guys. But I'm a big fan of normal thickness felt, just because you can play on roll-up boards, as well as you can play on nice wooden boards with the chess set like this, because when you place the pieces down, it doesn't make a noise like this. It makes a normal muffled noise that you would expect. As you'll see here in just a little bit, this particular chess set is quite nice, and as far as plastic chess pieces go, it's lovely. I feel like there's really not a whole lot that I would probably say is bad about this chess set. Then again, I love a lot of chess sets. I mean, you can throw pretty much any type of chess set at me and I'd probably say I like it, so but I tend to be honest as far as what I think about any particular chess set I review. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Alrighty, my friends, let's go ahead and take a quick look. These are the 3 7/8 of an inch king with a really nice, unique looking finial on top of these Zurich series plastic chess pieces. These are quite nice pieces with a fairly broad top right over here, and still kind of somewhat of a rounded edge, as we've seen in the previous chess set that I've shown, with what is it, three rings on top here, and a fairly normal looking base. Not a whole lot that sets these pieces apart from a lot of the other chess pieces that we've seen, but still quite nice. This particular chess set does come in this particular black for the dark pieces, and also you can either get it in this sort of a tan. Hopefully the light isn't too striking, but this is kind of a beige tan looking color, and then you can also get it in like a really white looking one if that's what you would prefer. I've already expressed this before, but personally I do enjoy having the pieces not in like stark white, even though I do own quite a few plastic chess pieces where the color is really bright white. I am starting to really kind of enjoy these sort of a tan beige looking pieces more and more so recently. These pieces aren't super heavy. We'll weigh them here in just a second. It has a nice sort of a medium quality felt here on the bottom. Nothing too nothing too luxurious, but you know what, it gets the job done. It really, like the previous video that we've seen before, it just I felt like the felt just was not enough, but in this particular pieces are really nice. This particular set, I think at Wholesale Chess was being sold at $27 or something like that. I'll shoot you guys a link below, so be sure to check it out if you guys are interested. Let's go ahead and take a quick look and weigh these pieces. I don't need to show you guys the weights. The white king measures at 87 grams, and the dark king measures at 71 grams. So a little bit of a discrepancy there, but there you have it. The kings are, I mean, fairly a good size and a good weight and pretty stable overall. The plastic seems like it's solid, and when the light shines into it, I'm not sure if it's fully solid or if there's still some space inside of it, but it does feel like it's solid. So it feels overall nice. If you look closely at the sides, you do, in some of these pieces, as we'll see with the other pieces, but you do see a little bit of a seam, but it's not like in your face. And overall, I think this is a pretty nice set. Let's take a look at the queens. As always, you get 4 queens, but we'll just go ahead and take a look at these two. Size comparison here, king versus queen. Queens are substantially shorter, And you know, overall very similar looking queens to the previous video that I've seen. So if you haven't seen the previous video, be sure to hit the link of the previous one, the Reykjavik set. I feel like the queens here are quite similar. Not too extravagant, not too many details, just an overall solid looking queens. People have expressed quite a lot, you know, that these queens, they tend to make them a little shorter than desired, and they make these queens, you know, almost the size of bishops, but we'll see in this case the bishops are going to be a lot shorter. So as far as the weight, the light queen measures at 72 grams and the dark queen measures at 69. The spikes over here on the top are a little bit on the sharp side, so if you poke your fingers into it, it does kind of feel a little bit sharp, but you know, these are the type of spikes that may or may not over time kind of dull down if you throw these in like a bag or something. But you know, I still think that if these were a little more conservative, especially like with the wooden pieces, they tend to make these spikes a little bit more rounded. So but either way, it's not like the spikes are too far out, so it's still very, very nice and pleasant. Makes for, you know, quite aesthetic looking queens overall. Let's take a look at the bishops. Here we go. Fairly normal looking bishops here. You can see they are a little bit bulbous on the top. For size comparison, here's the queen and here is the king. So the bishops are going to be substantially smaller than the queen. So at least that way you don't get confused, or, you know, like we've seen with the best chess set ever, the queen and the bishops were almost similar in height, and I felt like some people didn't really like that. But let's go ahead and take a look. The bishops, not super heavy, but you have a normal standard cut at the top here with the little tiny ball. The ball is not cut through like in some of the older models, like the 1800s chess sets. They used to cut the ball, and then here in the top you could see that there's sort of this curvature where the bulbous part is sort of in the middle here, and then it kind of tapers more inward with a normal kind of a proportionately nice and wide base on the bottom. Solid pieces overall. Like you could see the seams a little bit, but it's not like they're distracting. Nice felt in all pieces, the same felt. Doesn't extend out to the entire periphery, but I feel like it extends enough to where the pieces are stable and, you know, overall feel good. And sometimes in some chess pieces, like if they do extend the felt all the way out to the very, very periphery, when you put them down like this, you can see the felt, especially like the little hairs of the felt, they'll be sticking out a little bit, and sometimes people don't necessarily like that. As far as weight goes, we have the light bishop at 40 grams and then the dark bishop at 33 grams. So once again, a little bit of a difference there. Let's take a look at the other pieces. Moving on, here we see the two knights. These are going to be a little bit nicer than the previous chess set that we've seen, the Reykjavik, the knights in the Reykjavik, and also the Fischer Spassky. The head and the face of the knight were a little bit less detailed. I do like the way that these knights look. I kind of do like the way that the little hairs here on the mane are kind of tapered upwards. So, or at least they're kind of angled upwards, so that the face looks really nice and detailed overall. That is one of the things that I really particularly like about this set, is just the overall look of the knights. I wouldn't mind having wooden chess sets where the knight, you know, kind of looks like this. But I know that a lot of people, it's very subjective as far as the preference for the way the knights look. So be sure to comment below and let me know, you know, what you think about this particular knight and how you feel like it compares to some of the other pieces I have. As far as the weight of the knights go, the light knight measures at 42 grams and the dark knight measures at 38 grams. So a little bit, it seems like the light pieces are just a little bit heavier than the dark ones. Now moving on, we have the rooks. Fairly normal looking rooks, not too skinny. Here's kind of a nice proportioned rooks, with the top being relatively thick here, the very top, and you know, this portion here is of a nice proportioned height. The rooks is what kind of caught my eye, as far as like you can see the seam a little bit more readily here. but you know what? It's not terrible. They look really nice. And they're stable as far as pieces go. So, you know, I don't really have anything bad to say about this particular set. And I feel like for the price, overall, you're getting a nice, solid set. Like, if you guys like this particular one, you know, that might be one that you'd consider ordering, especially if you play a lot of, like, tournament games. As far as the weight of these pieces, we have the light Rook measures at 49 grams, and then the dark Rook measures at 44. So 5 gram difference there, okay? Okay, and then last but not least, we have the pawns. The pawns are kind of big looking. I mean, they're not big as far as the height of them, you know, but they're still pretty big. Well, I did in one of my earlier videos, I've talked about the fact that, you know, when we discussed at length the proportions of all the pieces of all the different 3.75 inch kings and how all the pieces compare to the original height of the king, we did come to a sort of a conclusion that the pawns usually take up about 50% of the height of the king, which in this particular case, if we put one on top of another, this tells me that the height is more than 50%, probably like 55% of the height of the king. So these are pretty big looking pawns, and I don't know whether or not you like the ball being like extraordinarily larger than the rest of the piece, but you know, we've seen chess pieces where the ball's a lot smaller. Obviously big you know, pieces with larger balls here on top are easier to grab. We've seen this same type of a pattern when I reviewed the Queen's Gambit inspired chess set from the House of Staunton. The pawns were kind of very similar looking, bigger top. I suppose it's easier to grab. I don't know what you guys think. You know, a little bit out of proportion, a little bit out of what we're generally used to, but I mean, it's not terrible looking. When I got this set, that was the only thing that I was like, whoa, those pawns are big at the top. But you let me know what you think about the pawns. Do you like them to where they're a little bit easier to grab, or you know, what do you think? Do you like them to be a little bit more proportioned? You know, what's your take on it? As far as the weight goes, 24 grams for the light and 26 grams for the dark, so approximately similar weight for those pawns there. This may not have been something I did with my previous video, but I know you guys do enjoy when I show you guys how these pieces do look on a board. This is that folding walnut board that I do tend to bring on a lot of my videos, especially when I go out to parks like this. I'm sorry the light's kind of getting away from me. It's almost sunset, but hopefully you guys still do get to appreciate how these pieces do look on a board. So overall, they look pretty nice. This is a 2.25 inch board, a very standard square size here. And just to kind of give you guys an idea, I am not playing a game here. Just kind of sort of set them up randomly to sort of give you an idea as far as how the individual pieces look and how much space they occupy. Gain some appreciation for that, so to speak. I like this chess set. I mean, it's very inexpensive and it's very practical, but you know, there hasn't been really that many chess sets that I don't like, and I do enjoy showing you guys these particular chess sets. I feel like, you know, a lot of people out there can benefit from even seeing less expensive chess sets like these and kind of get an idea as far as, you know, what they look like and how they feel, and hopefully some of my videos are able to be helpful to some people. Here's a side view of the same chess set. I feel like overall it looks really nice, and you know, there, besides the large looking pawns, there's really nothing bad about the set. It's a nice looking set. How's everybody been doing out there? How's all my chess friends been doing? Have you guys had a chance to play some chess recently? I've been playing a little bit more so recently. You know, if you don't play for a while, you kind of lose some of that edge that you've had, but I'm slowly getting back into it. And you know, like I said before in some of my videos, you know, I think the most important thing is, as long as you enjoy the actual process of playing, that's what it's all about. And of course, exercise. I feel like exercise is very important. for anybody out there. As long as you can find some time to exercise, maybe do a little bit of cardio, that's super duper important. I remember a couple of years back when I used to solve a lot of chess puzzles online. I would take my iPad with me. I remember I would go. There were a couple of times where I would do this. It was wild, but I would go on the treadmill, and I would set the iPad and go to that puzzle solving section and try to solve puzzles while running. And one, you get a little frustrated because you'll have to think through the puzzle, but then sometimes as you're running, like you'll try to move that queen down to where you wanted to move it, and then your finger slips and you're like, oh crap, and then they're like wrong, and you're just like, I wanted to move it to that, clearly. But one of the coolest things is that when I would run and then do the chess puzzles at the same time, I would be on the treadmill for maybe like 40 minutes or so. The wildest thing is that once you get off the treadmill, you feel like they're like everything like right up here and right up to the sides. It feels like it's all like filled with blood. So like obviously when we are thinking as far as like solving chess puzzles or playing chess games, there's going to be certain parts of the brain that are going to be firing a lot more, and when they do fire, they are taking up a lot more. There's like a higher amount of blood that goes to those areas. But it was just wild to see because I got off the treadmill and I felt like everything here is just so like overfilled with blood. It was crazy. You don't see that usually when you're just playing and sitting somewhere. But so that goes to show you that exercise is super important when you're playing, because for me, I felt like the only way to get better at playing chess would be obviously to play chess and do chess puzzles and read chess books and do different things. But at the same time, I would have to give myself a break, go out and do some cardio, because that way I felt like my brain would be sort of all congested with, I guess I thought about it as congested, because you get all this information and you're in a fog because you've played too much chess. You go out and you run a little bit or you do some cardio, and the blood goes through your body and then it goes to the brain and it flushes it all out, and you come back like 40 minutes later and you feel like you're refreshed. And you might not be ready to go play chess again the same day, but you've sort of refreshed all that, that you kind of flushed the system, and then you're ready to go again. I love coming out to parks like this. Unfortunately, even a park, there's always people around. It just feels weird, especially when you're coming out like by yourself. Like I come out by myself, it just feels weird. You're coming out to the park, I feel like people don't really understand you sitting there in front of your camera with chess pieces, out of all things, chess pieces, chess boards. That's why sometimes it just feels awkward. But that's always been like, ever since I started this channel, it's always been the hardest part, I feel like, of being able to make these videos, is finding the space, finding like where you're gonna do these videos, because otherwise it's just like weird, and maybe it's just the way that I'm thinking, or I'm overthinking it. Maybe people don't really think, but I have people like that'll actually stop. They'll be driving by and they'll stop and they'll look at you in a weird way, like I don't know what to tell you. I'm just out here trying to, what were you gonna do here? What were you coming to do here? And sometimes I'll come out to these parks and it feels like there's way too many people, and I just don't end up doing the video anyways. I feel like by now, most of the people who watch my videos have been around for a little while, so they know my name, they know a little bit about me. I still introduce myself. Hey, my name is Alex, for the people who may be coming in, first time to this channel. But sometimes I'm just like, maybe I should not. But it is like this, like sometimes when I'm at work, I'll be sitting there, and I always try to tell the people at work, the girls that work there, please let me know if the patient that I'm about to go see has met me before or not, because you see so many patients as being a dentist. You see so many patients and you work on them, and sometimes you're so focused in that you don't forget, like especially people wearing masks a lot nowadays, you forget what people look like. So I'll be walking in for like a cleaning or something, and the hygienist will be like, oh, Dr. Alex, she's ready for you. And I'm coming in my usual, hi, how are you? I'm Dr. Alex. And then they're like, yes, Dr. Alex, you worked on my teeth, last week. And you're just like, well, I'm like, it's good to see you, but I try not to get into that situation, but it happens. Well, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I always try to make my videos informative, interesting from a chess standpoint. And if you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment below if you have any comments. Hopefully everybody has a nice, safe, and happy weekend. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.